Hello, good morning. Welcome. Today, the first slide. Amul, in its latest tropical advertisement, took a dig at United President Donald Trump for halting US funding to the WHO. As we know, recently the President Trump called WHO a scapegoat. He nourished and nurtured hatred against WHO as well as China. And today, and it was a comment on Trump for halting US funds to WHO, for freezing funds to WHO. This is not a wise decision on the part of Trump. And that's why, and here this is the latest pungent remark. Take a dig at United President Donald Trump. That means this particular caricature mocked at his decision, jeered at his approach, insulted him for halting US funding to WHO. And this was nothing but a bitter criticism, a stringent criticism. It is somewhat an insult to Donald Trump. So, in this caricature, and we have an idiomatic expression, take a dig at. Take a dig at means and to target somebody and mock at him, jeer at him, jibe at him, needle somebody. Right? Next slide. So here we continue the same context. Halting funding to the WHO is really dangerous. And so many literate, wise people, they think that Trump's decision, a short-sighted decision, it reveals his myopic attitude. It proves his parochial attitude, narrow-minded attitude, which is not expected at this juncture because the world is in crisis and it is not the time and to take retaliation, revenge. Now everybody has to move unitedly in order to fight this scourge corona, malignant corona. Experts, they declared that when Trump declared his decision, all the experts got dismayed, disappointed, distressed, disconcerted. And his decision perturbed them, disturbed them, aghast. It was aghast, it was a shock to them, shocked everybody, terrified everybody. And everybody was amazed, astounded, because, and this decision, a hasty decision, and that too, and it is not at all a fair thing on the part of Trump. So here the word short-sighted meaning myopic or parochial meaning narrow-minded or what we call small-minded. And the same context here, the global, that is global anger. Now global anger spreads like a wildfire. Global wrath. Wrath means angry. Make no mistake, it is an iron fist in a velvet glove. It is also an idiom. Appear to be very gentle but very serious and severe. When he halted US funds to WHO, and that is a proof of his totalitarianism. tyrannical attitude, despotic attitude, and he is ruling very seriously and severely. That is called ruling with an iron fist, means ruling very severely. And here, iron fist in a velvet glove means appears to be very gentle, polite, but in reality, and he is governing very seriously. Next slide. And here we have some idiomatic expressions on apple, the fruit apple. We know why this Trump nurturing and nourishing hatred against WHO or against China. What is the apple of discord? Apple of discord means reason for dispute. We know the reason he explained. China maintained radio silence, and WHO did not reveal the what you call the severity of coronavirus. And this is the apple of discord. This is the reason for the dispute between Trump and WHO. Or in another way, I can put it, what is the bone of contention? Bone of contention meaning root cause for the dispute. So these two idioms we can use whenever we refer to the reason of quarrel, the reason of altercation, the reason of dispute. We know apple cart means to upset the apple cart. And this scourge corona, this corona is called a bane, that is called scourge. And this corona spoiled all our plans, destroyed all our plans. Then we can say that, and corona upset the apple cart of everybody. And next, apple of one size. We know Sri Rama is the apple of Dasharatha's eyes. Means Dasharatha loved Sri Rama very much. Then we say apple of one size, means love somebody very much. Next, apple pie order. You know, if there is if there is absence of mother in the family, everything is at sixes and sevens. Means everything is in disorder. If mother is in the family, everything is in a perfect order. Then we say that is called apple pie order. Apple pie order means a perfect order. Next one, second bite of the apple means giving a second chance to do something. Next one, apples to apples. Whenever you are comparing, and generally we compare two similar things, then we say, and we are comparing the two similar things, you can use the idiom apples to apples. The success of this company is compared with the success of the another company, and both companies are IT companies, and then there is a similarity. If you compare the IT company to the other company, and which is not IT, and that comparison is called like comparing apples to oranges. Means you are comparing what you call, this comparison is called dissimilar comparison. Then we use the idiom like comparing apples to oranges. Next, another idiom here, that is apple polishing. There are certain people, they don't live on their hard work. How that is that very easy to earn their bread and butter, and by not doing any hard work but doing a simple thing, that is what you call apple polishing. So dismiss the apple polishers in your company, and then your company will flourish, will come off with the flying colors. So apple polishing is a negative word, means flattering somebody in order to get something. Right? So in this slide we have these idioms. Right? In this slide we have in spite of, despite, respite, spite. right? In spite of and despite, both are prepositions. Here, after lockdown, that is, still lockdown continues, very soon we are going to get some relief within 4 days. So there is some respite in 4 days. Respite means some relief. Here, an idiom, give a respite to mankind, or sigh of relief for mankind. To breathe a sigh of relief for mankind, or to heave a sigh of relief for mankind. So, heave a sigh of relief for mankind, or breathe a sigh of relief for mankind, meaning getting some relief. Because so far, and people are in lockdown system, and particularly the poor people, and they are suffering from many hardships. They need their bread and butter. So after 4 days, definitely they will get some relief, some reprieve, and they can earn their bread and butter and to live for a few days. Now here, another word called spite. Spite means ill will. That is called ill feeling. Malice feeling is called spite. Now, Trump has some ill will. That is what he called malice feeling. That's why he called WHO a scapegoat. And he halted US funding to WHO. And he froze US funds to WHO. That's why in the first slide we know the tropical ad, and that is criticizing his decision, right? So here spite meaning malice, ill feeling or bad feeling. And next slide. Here the statement is, cavalier attitude makes youth more susceptible to corona, more vulnerable to corona. Susceptible means it is easily affected, inclined to be affected, ready to be affected, vulnerable to this what you call scourge corona, right? And particularly the youngsters, and they are paying a deaf ear, and they are showing a kind of attitude that is called cavalier attitude. That means not considering other people's feelings or other people's safety, and it is very dangerous, particularly to the youth, because every day there is a large number of cases mounting, skyrocketing, and all of a sudden rising the cases, spiking the cases. So that's why, and particularly the youth, they should be very careful, and they should not show their nonchalant attitude, or what you call their cavalier attitude, or what you call their that is called arrogance. So if they are arrogant, and victims are they, so that's why, and they should be very careful. And next slide. And here we know a few idiomatic expressions. Cost an arm and leg. Cost an arm and leg means very costly. We know poor forced to pay dearly for accessing zero accounts. So pay dearly means pay heavily. Forced means coerced, meaning, and they are what you call intimidated to pay heavily, right? For that idiom, we have pay through one's nose. Pay through one's nose means paying heavily or paying too much. And the antonyms are cheap at half the price, means that is you need not pay heavily, but if you pay a small amount, you can get the goods. And it is also as cheap as chips, means it is very cheap. But today, because of the effect of this corona, and the poor people are forced to pay heavily, and it is really immoral, and it is not just on the part of the what you call the businessmen or whatever they may be, and it is not the right time and to squeeze the customers, right? So in this context we can learn pay dearly. Cost an arm and leg means very costly and very expensive, right? Next slide. And here, we know recently our Prime Minister, in his speech, advised the people, advised his countrymen, and to be at home, to stay at home. Not only the president, not only the prime minister, everybody advising, everybody giving sage advice, but without giving or without mentioning some measures to the people, to the ordinary people, and who are in difficulty in earning their bread and butter. Because the government has failed to show some measurements to the needy people. And in that context, and this is the paragraph here, exhortations. Exhortations meaning here encouraging, or what you call advising, beseeching, and entreating, but without showing any means to do to the poor people. And really, this is a bitter criticism on the part of the government, and without mentioning and without taking any measurements to save the poor people, and simply keep on saying what you call sage advice, and it is not good on the part of the government. So this is the context. Here the word exhortation meaning persuading, preaching. It is just only a preaching, right? So prodding or counseling or entreating, right? Next one. And in this slide, and this piece of news taken from the newspaper, look at the first one, violating. So violating is a known word, and that is another synonym, contravene. Contravene means breaking the rules, right? So those violating the quarantine could face up to 6 months in jail. What a stringent, what you call punishment it is. Because the government is going to take such stringent action, because citizens are not cooperating. They are not abiding by the rules. That's why, and the government is going to take that kind of action. And coercive measures. Yes, coercive measures means forceful measures, right? And next, sledgehammer strategy. So the government today is following a sledgehammer strategy, means a crude approach, a cruel approach for containment. That means people are not responding to the government's advice. So there is no choice to the government, simply approaching a crude approach, a callous and crude approach. Right. Next one, rioted. So recently we know that at Bandra, and that riot means what you call created riot, or what you call rioted. Rioted means rampaging, means creating mayhem, or what you call pandemonium, right? Next one, comprehensive strategy. So some people advise the government, instead of following sledgehammer strategy, and it is better to follow some comprehensive strategy and to save, to help the people. So here comprehensive meaning complete and easily achieved strategy, but they are putting some restrictions and which are not possible sometimes. So that's why it is better to follow comprehensive strategy. So in this slide, contravene means flout the rules, FLOUT means break the rules, breach the rules, transgress the rules, trespass the rules, or violate the rules. Coercive means forceful, intimidating. Sledgehammer means a very crude approach, very rough and rugged approach. And riot meaning rampage. And comprehensive strategy means complete and easily achieved. Next one. Right here, we know some people think that in a positive way, and this corona may level the disparities in the society, may level the differences or disparities between the rich and poor. It is widely advertised, and at this juncture, and this is an article in Indian Express, virus not the great leveler it is touted to be. it is advertised to be. Touted meaning here lauded publicly or advertised publicly, and that particular what you call news acclaimed, or what you call ballyhoo. Ballyhoo means a public advertisement. And what you call a trumpet, blowing one's own trumpet. That is one idiom. Blowing one's own trumpet means that is praising themselves very much about their achievements. And here, tout meaning and advertise publicly, or this is a kind of promotion, or what you call proclaim or praise. But here, this is not true, that this corona may not what you call that is may not whitewash the disparities, and it is a myth. It is only a myth. It is not at all a real thing. So in this slide, and we learned the word tout. Tout means what you call praise publicly. Next one. Yes, here this is also a piece of news, and we know today in our dictionary we are using some repeated words. Coronal lexicon means coronal dictionary. In this coronal dictionary, and these are the words we use: quarantine, self-isolation, staying at home, staying indoors. And these words have become part of common jargon, parlance. Parlance means jargon. Jargon means a special kind of vocabulary. And here there is another word that is called repertoire. Repertoire means repository, depository. The word depository means what you call park, or what you call save, right? And replenished. We know the word plenish. Plenish means to fill. Replenished means reloaded. So we are today reloading our verbal repository, right? And another word here that is scourge. Okay, scourge, SCOURG. Scourge means bane, imprecation. The scourge of coronavirus means the bane of coronavirus. So in the previous slide, and we have seen the scourge of coronavirus means the bane of coronavirus may remove the disparities. How how a bane remove the disparities. But some optimistic people think that is in such a way there is a blessing in disguise. Maybe, but it seems to be a myth. And this scourge of coronavirus and may not remove the disparities between the haves and have-nots permanently. Right. Next one. Yes, this is what you call, because of this scourge of corona, grind to a halt, grind to standstill, or come to a grinding halt means come to an end, but slowly. Our financial activities, slowly but steadily, going to be closed, going to be ended. So here, this is a piece of news. Asia growth will grind to stand still. It is a warning from IMF. Means slowly going to be stopped, or stop slowly. So everyone must be careful, and this is the time and to maintain and your balance of mind, because it is an unprecedented thing happened. So that's why it is not in our hands. So be prepared for this the bad effects. So our economy is going to be standstill, stalemate, deadlock. So here this idiom, grind to standstill, means stop slowly, right? Next one. Yes, recently we know this is that is on TV, that is particularly the media. Now it is the hottest topic. Was Mumbai's gathering a gigantic conspiracy? So is it intentional? Conspiracy means a plot. How this kind of mob provoked? And this is definitely, there is a hidden agenda. a hidden conspiracy and behind this protest. And this is described as a tinder box. Tinder box means very dangerous, and a dangerous thing is going to be broken out. So this mob is going to create mayhem, pandemonium, rampage, or what you call a ruckus. So that's why, and the media saying that this is called a tinder box, means a very dangerous incident, right? Intentionally, and some party members and provoked this mob. Actually, these the throngs of mob involved in this particular protest, and actually they are not migrants, but they are provoked people, and think for a while, and this is a conspiracy, and it is the time to everybody to save our country, and this is not the time to what you call advertise fake news or what you call fake rumors, right? Next slide. And this is really in South Korea, elections conducted, and South Korea got a tremendous majority, landslide majority, or thumping victory to that particular party, even in the midst of this what you call unprecedented corona, right? To them, it is a happy note at this time, right? Next, and this is what you call pulverize. Pulverize means what you call hitting. Pulverize the world economy means destroy the world economy. So this particular corona hit our world economy, battered our world economy, or you can say that pulverize means destroy the world economy, right? And this is the last one. The Prime Minister pleaded everybody, and everybody should stay at home up to May 3rd. This lockdown extended. When this proposal announced, that proposal is accepted in toto. So in the proposal, L is missed, sorry for that. So the proposal is accepted in toto. In toto means completely. That is, in toto means totally or completely. And this is also a new word today, right? Thank you very much for your monumental patience. And today I explained certain words. I have taken all these words from different newspapers and from different news channels. And this is the vocabulary, and we should know. And if we know this particular vocabulary through this what you call modus operandi, and that is called through context, and it is easy to remember. Thank you very much.